Hey guys, it's Valkrin. I have this video titled The Last Nidalee, and that's because this might be the last video you see of AP Nidalee before the AP Nidalee rework, or Nidalee rework, goes through. And there's no telling how soon it'll be, but it's probably going to be by the next patch. It's been on the PBE for a while now, and I can say that I'm looking forward to the rework. I think it might remove some of the toxic effects that Nidalee has on the game. Anyways, this is a gameplay footage commentary that I'm going to give of me playing AP Nidalee on my main account, and it kind of sucks to play, completely overpowered champions, but then again, if other people are going to use it, sometimes you just have to use it yourself. In this game, AP Nidalee was not banned, and so I had to pick it because I was afraid they would play it. And I hadn't played Nidalee in probably 2 months because in high elo, it's almost always permanently banned. We have a little bit of an engage down bottom. We see Lucian has to burn heal, and I'm trying to sneak a little spear out here to try and hit Lucian. I do hit someone. I'm not sure who it is. If it was Lucian, he would have died, obviously. But that gives me some information that there was someone in the bush, whatnot. Anyways, talking about Nidalee, I didn't want them to have Nidalee this game, so I picked it. And I'll walk you through my mindset of playing AP Nidalee, what I do to try and control this game. And I'll go ahead and say it now. What happens this game is I get camped really hard. And the reason why I'm going to explain, or I gave you that kind of spoiler, is due to the fact that I'm going to show you how to deal with being camped mid lane and how you turn that into kind of your advantage, and you just need to keep a cool head. So I'm laning against the Lux, and Lux is kind of making a comeback, I guess. I've seen a little bit more of Lux's play in higher brackets of play. I don't think she's that great. I think you can play Lux, but as you can see, I mean, at level 1, she can throw her E and an auto attack on me. But as Nidalee in this matchup, I am not afraid to trade auto attacks, as well as the fact that if she gets close enough, I will throw a spear at her. I mean, that's just what you do as Nidalee at level 1. You do want to make sure you start spear, because if you don't and you start traps, you're going to lose a lot of lane pressure. Done quite a bit of damage to Lux so far, but I've taken quite a bit, and that's fine. As AP Nidalee, if you're trading close to equal damage, then when you take heal, you'll kind of top yourself off. Jarvan comes in here to gank, does the knock-up. Not a whole lot of damage down on Lux quite yet. We do a spear. I was hoping that she would just flash right there, and we backed off because she is flash and heal, and I don't have ignite or anything like that. But in a situation like that, there's no reason to, I mean, the only alternative I had was to flash forward and try to get an auto attack, right? I mean, I had used my spear already. And Lee Sin comes mid. No reason to get too greedy. I mean, I'm not going to, straight up fight Lee Sin unless he dives me. He actually lands a Q on me. I miss my spear because he sidesteps to the right instead of the left. I expected the left because it's towards his minions. And then I land a nice spear on him. He's actually quite low, and he's playing very, very aggressive. He smites, he Qs, and he takes an auto attack and a tower hit and has to go back. And okay, and then Jarvan comes in here. This is where the mistake goes. I thought Lee Sin was very, very low and wouldn't be a part of this play, but he used a potion, and they burned flash on Lee Sin, and then Lux burned flash. That was the mistake number 1 this game, and this is the start of me becoming primary target for being camped because I use flash and heal. Lee Sin knows that because he's the one that made me burn it. Really aggressive play. You usually don't want to camp for an AP Nidalee mid. Jarvan is good against something like a Lux because he can almost solo Lux, but camping for AP Nidalee mid, the only thing I can really offer is landing a spear, and it is kind of hard to land a spear in a gank because they can most likely just flash out of the way of it, and that's pretty much all my damage. So I still try to make it work, thinking that Lee Sin was too low to help, but Lee Sin was chugging potions just before Jarvan came and had just enough to make an aggressive play. Jarvan makes a kill happen top lane because Tryndamere is farming in between the lane or something crazy. And I'm not pushing it too hard. Right here, there's no reason to shove it. There's no reason to spam my spear on it. I missed the siege minion. I probably should have thrown my spear on it if I wasn't confident and auto-attacking that. The rune setup that I'm using hybrid pen marks. Sometimes I would run AD marks just to help just push the lane if I'm against someone who's going to shove really hard against me. But this game I'm running hybrid pen. This just gives me decent auto-attack damage. early levels, and the magic pin is always helpful. I throw a trap over there just to try and bait out Lux walking into it, and then Lee Sin comes. And this is just, there's no reason for me to be this far pushed up. My lane was shoving, and I was trying to make Lux miss a few last hits while her minions were on my the range back line. But then again, I mean, Lee Sin knows that I don't have flash. Mistake number 2. So I'm 0-2 right now. Lee Sin's given me a lot of attention mid. The worst thing that I could do right now is continue to play aggressive. And as I probably forgot to mention, but I went double Doran's, ward, and health potions now. And while you can go, you know, like start rushing towards Chalice, this is a matchup where I don't necessarily need Chalice because the only magic damage on their team is Lux. They have a Tryndamere top, a Lee Sin jungle. You know, by me getting some magic resist, it wouldn't be that beneficial. So I'm actually going for Morellonomic on this game because it gives CDR, it gives ton of mana regen and AP. If you don't need magic resist, it is the alternative to go on mid laners that would normally go Athenes. I think that Morellonomicon is very, very cost effective. And if you don't need the magic resist, you might as well go Morellonomicon instead of Athenes. So now I'm buckling down and I'm really wanting to farm because I don't have flash up, I don't have heal up, and well, Lee Sin just died right there. So I'm playing a little bit more aggressive now that I noticed that Lee Sin was killed by my Jarvan. So now I'm trying to shove the lane pretty hard because Lux is not in the lane, and I'm not sure if she's roaming at this point in time because I didn't see which direction she went in. So I'm just trying to shove this out while getting as many last hits as I can. One thing to note is how I pushed that was I was auto-attacking the one the minions weren't focusing, and then switching to the one that was the minions were focusing just as it was about to die. That's the fastest and safest way to last hit as anything when you're just depending on ranged auto attacks to get the last hit instead of spells. I throw a Q off just to get that because Lux hasn't used any of her abilities up. All of her cooldowns are up. I didn't want to walk forward to get hit into a binding and then into her E. Because I'm still behind Lux right now. I'm afraid that because of the experience difference from Lee Sin ganking that she could do an all-in play. But my heal is back up. I'm still kind of concerned about the Lee Sin pressure because one binding, one snare from the Lux into a Lee Sin Q, and I'm probably going to die, even if Lee Sin's not 6 yet, which I assume he is going to be 6. Lux is trying to shove this out. I'm doing my best to push this towards her, but she gets it under my turret. I'm level 6 now. If she doesn't hit me with a binding, it's going to be really easy for me to get these last hits, but I see Jarvan pinging, so I'm going to run towards Lux in cat form, do a bit of damage, pop out. I miss my spear here because I assume she's going to flash out of the Jarvan ultimate, but she saves her flash. And I'm walking back. Jarvan gets hit by the binding, and then Lee Sin decides to go in. I miss another spear because they stood still, and I expected Lux to attack move in between her auto attacks, but I just jump forward and execute the Lux. But I missed 2 spears there, not too great, but it is kind of hard to land spears in random situations like that because you can't always guarantee that you're going to know exactly what they're going to do. I mean, you can assume they're going to do the smartest thing in that situation, and right there, I was assuming Lux would attack move in between her auto attacks and just kind of try to get the most distance between her and me, and I threw my spear in that area. Lee Sin W's and tries to Q, I dodge over and just hop over the wall, hit Lee Sin with a Q. That's really balanced. So Lee Sin has to leave now, and I'm just continuing to pressure mid. Ooh, that helps. Okay, so I'm going to get my blue now. I put a trap down. I actually run out of mana by throwing the trap down. It would have been smarter for me to save that mana and use it on the Javelin instead of my W, but I wanted to do the trap and then my Javelin, but I was missing a little bit of mana to do that. Throw a spear off. I'm missing a little bit of HP, and Lux has all of her abilities up, and I don't want to feed double buffs, so that's why I threw a spear out right there instead of getting a little bit closer. I'm making sure I'm staying pretty close to my tower, even though I have double buffs, until I'm basically making sure that I don't get caught in a bad position when I'm coming back to lane. When you first come back to lane after, you know, roaming or something like that, the first thing you want to do is make sure you thin out the minion wave, because you can't do anything aggressive until the minion waves thinned out most of the time. Otherwise, you're going to be taking unnecessarily minion damage if you're looking to play aggressive. I don't really care about taking some of the poke from Lux right now because I'm just going to heal it up. It's still kind of bad that I'm taking it, but I'm just trying to get in position to land javelins on Lux. Playing AP Nidalee will give you, honestly, will put you in bad habits because of your heal, and because when you get blue, and I get ganked by Lee Sin here, so I'll talk about that after. I flash the Lux ultimate. Lee Sin still diving. I use heal. I have red buff, and instead of throwing my javelin out immediately, he tries to dodge my javelin and realizes he's screwed once I apply red to him, and then he just like continued to try and dodge, and he was like, I'm still screwed. I don't throw my javelin out right away again, and Lux backsteps to try and dodge the impending spear, and instead she steps on the trap, and you hold on to that skill shot until you know you can hit it. And a lot of people in higher elo know that you can dodge most skill shots when they're assuming you're going to run a straight line by backstepping and walking towards you for a second. And that's what she tried to do. And because I had red buff, I was totally okay with just letting her walk backwards to try and anticipate the spear and get a few extra auto attacks off. And then Jarvan got there with his ultimate. So we're doing Dragon now. I've got a ton of gold. And when you have blue on Nidalee, you can get into a bad habit of just like not having a recall since you have so much sustain with your heals. Lee Sin tries to steal this. I'm going towards Lee Sin. I stop DPSing Dragon. It's the smartest thing you can do when their jungler just suddenly enters the pit on Dragon or Baron. And we kill the Lee Sin. Going back to talking about why you get bad habits when you're playing AP Nidalee is because you are dependent on your heals, or you become dependent on your heals if you play too much AP Nidalee. You can just take ridiculous trades in your favor because of your heals. Like, you could do like half as much damage as they do, and as long as you're not getting all in, you'll heal it back up if you go Chalice and you have blue buff. But this game, I had double Doran's Ring and blue buff. Now I have Morellonomicon and Ward and Boots just coming back in the lane. She misses both of her skill shots, so I'm okay with just going in cat form and clearing the back line. Most of the time, you do not want to use cat form to clear the back line as AP Nidalee because you're setting yourself up to get hit by their skill shots. But as soon as they burn that, Lux burns her ultimate right in front of me, and I'm like, okay, well, you don't have your ultimate up, so I'm just going to cat form on top of you. Okay, let's take some damage, heal that right back up. And, in a matter of like 15 seconds, I'll be full HP again. It's just really silly. Lux dips up. I'm not sure if she's going to get blue right now. It is the 12-minute mark, so blue should be or it's 12:21. Blue should be spawning like relatively soon for them, but it's pretty obvious that Lux is roaming top now, that there was a gank happening. Instead of roaming top in this situation, both of my teammates had died top. There's no reason for me to roam top. I can't hold it against 3 of them. So the smartest thing here was just to take this tower. No reason for Lux to roam there when they already won 2v2 their team. And instead I get a free tower. So this is a smart decision that I made just to stay mid. I'm throwing traps in areas of choke points. Like if you see, I have 2 traps going up above me, 1 just outside the tower. I'm trying to cut off an exit. So if someone comes that way, they're going to step on a trap. My spear is going to do a whole lot more damage to them. Cat form a whole lot more damage. So I'm rotating down bottom because Nidalee's so fast by spamming her W and cat form. I can just maneuver down here and get on the Zyra. Free kill there. Then go right back over. And I see red spawn, so I javelin at an angle to hit the red buff, put the trap down to apply the debuff so I can do this faster. And I pull into the bush. And I finish it in cat form. And as I'm hopping away, I go into caster form and I throw it. But look, the small lizard did not path like in the direction that I went in. It was going back above the red buff, so my spear ends up hitting that. And I was like, that's really weird. I haven't seen that happen. Usually it's supposed to follow you in a straight line, off the buff if you go that way. But in that particular case, the small lizard decided not to. Jarvan was holding mid while I was making that roam bottom. Now I'm building towards death cap, and because Lux is just... she's not doing a great job of containing me, really. Like, AP Nidalee, you gotta crush her early game, like, really, really hard. Even though I was 0-2 at the early levels, I'm still able to make a lot of plays happen because I was really, really patient, let the lane just shove towards me, and then once they started making mistakes, that's when I started playing progressively more aggressive. But, if I was 0-2, I probably wouldn't be roaming as much as I was, but because Lee Sin dove me, because we got a kill on Lux afterwards, I'm starting to feel more confident, etc., etc. Blue buff is back up, take the lantern, throw that over, javelin plus auto attack. Jarvan actually had red there, so I'm really surprised that his red buff did not get it. Kind of overestimating my javelin damage. Here I throw a javelin out, almost hits the Lux, heal the Graves. We're just going to go in siege mode right now. I have blue, I have Morellonomicon, got a large rod, I've got quite a bit of AP, and Nidalee is king of siege. So my bottom lane rotated mid because they took that outer turret. This is a perfect time for us to stay in siege. No reason to rotate top just yet because we can possibly take this tower. I hit a javelin on the Lucian just before that, and I'm staying kind of far back. Obviously, I'm not going to walk in auto attack range, because if Zyra hits me with a snare, they're just going to go all in and try to kill me, and Lee Sin might try to insect me back. My javelins are getting really close to hitting them. It's just a matter of time with AP Nidalee before one of them hits. Lee Sin does something really weird. He's like starting to do wraiths while we're right here, so I just hop over the wall. He does ward hop over. My javelin almost hits the Zyra. Our Graves gets caught out. I walk over, use my summoner heal to save Graves, and we're still trying to siege this. Spear. Lee Sin safeguards to save Zyra. That javelin probably would not have killed Zyra, but it would have been really, really close. And Lee Sin decided to block it. So now they're all super low from just taking poke over time, and they're going to have to recall, and we're going to get this tower. We're going to tank it for a second because we have heals, and we know they're recalled. Thresh juggles it, I get it for a second. And I walk forward, and just auto-attack it and use my Q in cat form, because your Q, it works as an auto-attack reset on turrets. It's not going to do, I mean, it's just going to be that extra auto-attack, really. And Tryndamere is down here now. Hit a spear on him, get that ward down, and now this is like the downtime. You can't really all recall after you push like that when they were recalled, because they're just going to come back to lane and just start pushing, and that's what they're doing. So we can't all recall. They see us that we didn't recall, and they decided to back off since they know we're stronger. Missed my E there. Oh well. The most frustrating part about playing AP Nidalee in cat form is your W goes towards where you're facing, not really where your cursor is. So, you know, you could be trying to control your champion to go one way when you're hopping, and because you're not facing that way immediately, it won't go that way. Bam, one spear unlocks almost 100 to 0 her. I mean, it's just ridiculous. She doesn't have very much magic resist, but it's just, this is the face of true balance right now. And I feel really dirty for even making a video about AP Nidalee, but I mean, I haven't played Nidalee in like 2 months or so, and honestly, if it's in the game and you really want to rise in the ladder, you should be playing, or know how to play against the strongest champions in the game. And Nidalee, AP Nidalee is probably top 5 champions in the game right now. Dragon respawns, so we decide to rotate here. No reason for us not to do Dragon as soon as it spawns, because we have pretty good vision coverage. They can't fight us, or they just absolutely do not want to fight us, so this is just free. We're not really in a hurry to end the game because we know we outscale them, or at least I do at this point in time. I just know that as long as we don't do anything incredibly stupid, we're just going to win this game because of AP Nidalee. Clear that out in cat form. I'm walking up. I've got, you know, some time to go back and recall. 1900 gold. Death cap is only 1700 gold when you have a large rod already completed. So I went ahead and got death cap and a pink ward. And I'm going to use this pink ward to help maintain vision control, since I had that little bit extra gold. And if I had an extra item slot open, I probably would have bought 1 or 2 normal wards. So hopping back to lane. No reason not to just spam your W when you're playing Nidalee in cat form. You get to where you need to go way faster. Trying to find a good place to put the pink ward. I put it in this bush because if you put it out in the open, they're more likely to see it, and that'll just help us maintain control over Baron. Oh my gosh. Another spear hit on Lux. She's just going to have to go back. I mean, if she stepped on a trap, if at any point in time she steps on a trap and I land a full range spear, she's going to get one shot. That's part of the reason why AP Nidalee is so silly, is her trap gives so much magic resistant armor shred that, I don't know, it just makes it really unnecessary. It already gives vision, it already does a decent amount of damage, and then it gives a massive armor and magic resist shred. Very, very underrated, that shred. I'm kind of like solo pushing mid right now. No reason for me not to, because I see they have 2 bottom, and I know I just made Lux have to recall. I'm coming around bottom, we should get this turret. Almost hit a spear there. They're sidestepping in. It's really hard to hit a spear when they're expecting it, and they have a lot of room to move. The best times to hit your spears are when you have your allies also throwing other things at them, or you're pinning them in one area, because if there are a bunch of projectiles going towards them, they're going to be really confused, and they might not be able to react to the strongest one immediately. And I hit a spear. On the Lux again, it was like in the minion wave, but it's just sometimes that happens. Like you should go for those if you can with any skill shot. Oh my gosh. And Zyra, almost one shot as well. Just completely dominating this area. Like they can't really safely stay behind this turret even though they're trying desperately to do it. But we'll get this turret eventually. We're doing the safe push. I hit the spear at point blank range. Not a whole lot of burst compared to the max range, but it's still, you know, free damage that we get off. We get this tower. Gonna jump over this wall. I think my blue's back up, so I'm gonna work my way to blue. Now, you know, hopping over walls, it can be kind of tricky on Nidalee because, like I said, your pounce goes towards the direction that you're facing, so I land that perfectly. I think I'm going to fail the hop out, the first hop out, because I was facing at a slight angle. So let's see. So I'm going to miss this one. See, yeah, I was angled at a bad way. I'm going to make the second one. You know, if I had played Nidalee at all, and before this game, I would have probably not have made some of these same mistakes, but you know, they're very, very simple. When you're playing AP Nidalee, she's so silly. She's just a silly champion. In this game, it's just a matter of time before we have enough items to just win one team fight, take Baron or their inhibitor, and the game will just end. But I'm only 3-2-2, and this is like a good example of a game that score is very, very deceiving. I'm way, way stronger than most of the enemy team because of the champion pick and also just because of items and what I've actually been doing. And we have a lot of objectives on them as well. So I'm coming up here to roam on the Tryndamere. I flash because I see Zyra popped out. And I'm running down, and this is something that's pretty tricky. And if Lee Sin wasn't here, maybe I would have lived. But in a circumstance like that where you can't backtrack and you can't go to the right safely, sometimes you can run into their base as Nidalee, and if no one was in that direction, you can just outmaneuver people. And so that's why I popped heal, and it looked really strange that I was like walking into their base. But if Lee Sin wasn't there, like in front of me and was trying to flank from the side, I probably would have ended up getting away, because then I could have just hopped through their base and gone out the other side by, you know, spamming heal on cooldown to deal with the tower hits. So I die there. I'm 4-3-2, but this game is just a done deal, and it's just AP Nidalee, silliest champion world. Yeah, and there's the surrender. GG. Last Nidalee. Thanks for watching, guys.